So we're in a Kea Breeze. With this sort of a control panel over here. So I'll just show you where the fuses are on these Kea Breeze models, or they're commonly referred to as the Kea Cascade. And I'll run you through all the other different models, including the Platinum, so just watch this video to the end. So for the Kea Breeze and the Kea Horizon and the Kea Platinum, they have this type of a switch panel over here. So underneath the switch panel there's fuses. So I'll take this one out and show you. So with your fingers you can get underneath here and pull it. It'll be tight, or you can use a screwdriver, pop that out, and over here you can see each one of these circuits is fused. So I'll take you in a bit closer. So you can see the range hood is on a 10 amp fuse, the media is on a 15 amp fuse, lights and so on. It's just a blade fuse. So I'll go ahead and just remove one so you can see it. So it's just over here. It's a blade fuse. So you just remove it and you can check it and see if it's blown. If, for example, your TV is not working, then you can quickly come here, remove the panel like I showed you, check the fuse and see. More than likely that will be the cause. Just as an example, and the same applies to this panel over here. Just like that, you pop it off. The heater, notice that the heater circuit has also got a fuse over here. So if you're wondering if your heater is not working and the light doesn't illuminate, this could be an easy fault that you could pick up yourself. Similarly with the water heater, the water pump and the toilet, there's also a fuse here. So when you're done, basically pop this back in here and just press it down, and you should hear an audible click, and that means it's locked in. And you can go ahead and test everything and you can see it's all working. So that's one part of it. So that's where the fuses are located on nearly all the Breezes from about 2016 onwards, right up to the late model 2024 units. The second lot of fuses is normally underneath the seats on the Kea Breeze. So we'll go ahead and pop this out. You put your hand underneath here and you just pull up with force, and then that just pops out. It's just held in by these mushroom clips over here, and it's just clipped in here. So I generally like to remove both of them so you get to see everything in this area. And normally what you find is there's a lot of dust that builds up around this diesel heater, so make sure you clean this area on a regular basis. So over here is your additional fuses. So if I take you down there, you can see that's where the diesel heater fuses, the fridge, an additional outlet fuse. Similarly on this side, there's a toilet fuse, the hob ignition, and the rear reading lights. So on this particular unit, all you do is just lift this up like so, and again you've just got standard automotive blade fuses. It's just a cover, just clipped in. So I'll go ahead and put this back. You've also got a charger in the rear of this unit, because your house battery is just over there, as you can see. And there's a charger, a projector charger, which hopefully you can see there. Now sometimes when you plug in the vehicle, you might notice that this is not jumping up to 14 volts. It's got a solar panel, so that's why it's up to 14. So if that's the problem and you find that the charger is not working, there's a switch over here where the charger is normally plugged in, and then you turn it on and off. And also there's a switch on top of the projector unit, just over there, that black toggle switch. So just make sure those two switches are on, and that covers most of your electrical side of the house area on a Kea Cascade. Now we'll jump into a Kea Platinum. This is the Kea Breeze, and this is where the isolator switch and the circuit breakers are located. I will cover the Mercedes side and the Sprinters at a later stage on another video, so stay tuned for that. I'll cover where the fuses are, but if you just wanted a quick reference, there's fuses underneath the seat on this 907 model, which is the updated version. There's also fuses underneath the panel, just underneath at the passenger's footwell. But normally for the Mercedes side, you can refer to the owner's manual and it will show you everything in that area. But it's just normally the house area where a lot of people get stuck. So hence why I've showed you where the fuses are up there and down there. So now we're jumping into the Kea Platinum. This is an elite line of Kea Platinum. But the wiring and most of the items are the same, so it runs the same design. So as you just saw on the Kea Breeze where the fuses were, it's exact same thing on the Kea Platinum. The exact same setup with the fuses. One thing I did mention on the Kea Breeze, which was the isolator switch, it's pretty much all in the same vicinity where I showed you the charger before. So the isolator switch and the circuit breakers, they're always at the battery location. So on this model it's here, on the Kea Breeze it's in the same place. And the fuses are also underneath here, the additional fuses, which I'll show you now. If you want to access the battery, this applies to most models. There was another model where the battery was located underneath the seat. Those were mainly from 2020 to 2021. But majority of these models is just access underneath here. So we're at the dining area, just over here. So what you want to do is you want to lift this up here. Just put your hand here and you lift this up. And that gives you access to all your components underneath the. So as you can see, this model has got two batteries, the charger and the fuses over there in the corner. So that's the projected charger I was referring to earlier, and this is where the fuses are on your Platinum. And I'll jump into the other various models, so just keep watching this video and you'll see the other models. That light flashing over there is the solar charge controller. Now we're in a Kea Voyager. So this is a camper van built on the Toyota Hiace. So if anyone is wondering where the fuses are for this particular model, I'll show you that. So it's got the same type of a fuse over here. So if I pop this one out, you can see it's got the same fuses, the blade fuses over here, the automotive fuses. As you're probably noticing a trend now that the Keas run this type of setup. So I'll go ahead and pop this panel back on. So that's one set of fuses over here, and I'll show you where the charger and everything is, which is on the outside of the vehicle. So let's step outside. So this is the driver's side on the outside. So if it's got an upgraded solar panel on this particular model, they never came with solar panels. Your controller is normally mounted on the rear here, similarly with the battery charger, just over there. That's your VSR, and the house battery on this model is just underneath here. So there's this cover plate and you access it here. So this is where one battery is located. The water tank and everything is located on this side, and your 240 volt sockets for the microwave and the charger over here where you fill the water. And you can access the engine via the passenger side, standard on all Toyota Hiaces. You lift this up here and it just has the clips to pop down. And just over there is the start battery. So this is your primary battery. Engine is accessed from underneath here. So if you want full access, you pull the seat forward and then you lift this whole thing up. And coming back inside the van again, that's where your isolator switch is. And now I'll show you where the circuit breakers are. So if you lift that storage area underneath, over here up, and you come down here. So this is where your circuit breaker is located. Any van that plugs into a campsite or 240 volt source always has a circuit breaker, so just remember that. So this is the Kea Voyager. Now we'll jump into another vehicle. So now we're in a Kea Nomad. This is a late model one. This is a 2023 model Kea Nomad. So you might notice, if you've checked out my other videos, that this is a little bit different. So it's got a 2-burner gas hob instead of the old 3-burner and a smaller sink. Just for reference. Apart from that, everything else is the same. So we come here and again we notice the same control panel. So like I said, there's fuses underneath here, which I'll remove and show you now. So exactly the same setup as I showed you before. And similarly at the top here, there's fuses here. Water heater, it's got its own fuse above here, so don't get confused in case you're looking for a fuse. It's just underneath here. As you can see, they use a 5 amp for one part of the circuit, and the second is a 10 amp on this particular model. So that's where that lot of fuses are. The second lot on the Kea Nomad, the diesel heater control is just over here. So the diesel heater and everything else is located underneath here, including the secondary set of fuses. So you've got your main isolator switch over here, your circuit breakers as you've seen in the other models. Make sure they're all up when they're on. Up is on. And then we lift the seat up here. You might have a bolt here, so you might not be able to access it. You just have to open up the bolt. Once you open up that bolt, then you got access underneath here. So that's the diesel heater, the battery. This is how the diesel heater normally has 2 fuses, just over here, part of its own loom for the Webasto type diesel heater. And then over here is where we've got the fuses. Again, blade type automotive standard fuses. As you can see, you got the fridge, toilet, the DC outlet, which I showed you here at the front, solar. The heater is also fused here, the diesel heater, and the stereo. So that's where that lot of fuses are. This is the charge controller. That's the switch for the projector charger, which is just over here. And on some earlier models, which I'll show you a bit later on the video, they have a low voltage disconnect normally fitted to them. So that's the earlier models. These sprinters have a separate relay setup that comes from factory, which is normally underneath the seat. Also, these late model 907s have an auxiliary battery for backup because they've got the electronic park brake just over there. So if you've got a brake like so, if you've got an electronic park brake like so, it has a auxiliary battery underneath the seat. Underneath the seat there, it's got an auxiliary battery. This model is a bit hard to show you because it's got swivel seat brackets fitted to it, but check out the video, it'll be down in the description below, or just check out my channel. If you look up the auxiliary battery, I'll show you where the location is. So have a look at that. So here we're in a Kea Horizon. So again, it's the same setup for the electrical side. So with the Kea Horizon, you've got a set of DC sockets over here and a USB charger. Now that's fused over here with the switch panel over here at the top. So again, I've just popped off the panel on the front. and it's the same setup as the other ones as I showed you. Fuses on this side for each circuit, so I don't need to run you through on that. The TV needs to be retuned every time you travel if you still utilize the UFO at the top. I've got another video on it, but I can quickly show you that. So it's through the ACC circuit. You just turn that on, then you switch on the TV with the remote. So this TV is currently tuned, but if not, all you do is hit menu. So you want to go to menu, come down to channel, come down to auto search over here, push enter, and all we want to tune for is just digital TV, and we just push OK, use the navigation key over here and just go OK, and that'll start searching. You want to do this in a city area where there's good reception. So I'll leave that. I'll show you the fuses in the meantime, and we'll come back to this, and you'll see all the signal, all the channels will be found. So as you can see, it already found one channel. So we'll come back to this in a couple of minutes. Something worth mentioning is these use the Majestiv UFO antenna, and it's got a white box. I'll put up a picture now. So that box is the amplified version. So it's an amplifier for the top UFO, which you should see now. So anyway, the fuses, there's one set up there which I just showed you, and the other set is just underneath here. So from the driver's cab to the rear, this section over here, all we want to do is just lift it up here. And in here we've got the 120 ampere AGM battery, the battery charger, the switch for it, that's the VSR over there, the main circuit breakers, and the fuse, the additional fuses I was talking about, and the charge controller over there. So generally wherever the battery is normally where the kill switch is. So just over there is the main isolator switch, you call it. So now coming back to the TV, you can see it's pretty much tuned all the channels, and it's found everything. And once it finishes at 100%, all the channels will pop up. Just like so. Now all the channels will pop up. So this pretty much covers all the Kea models. Make sure you do check out my channel. I've got a lot of other videos on campers, a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of how-to guides. I go into in-depth into a lot of other items, from Suburban water heaters, Truma water heaters, a lot of parts that cover the RV side of things. So stay tuned, subscribe, and do check out the channel for a lot more content.